Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. It's Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. Just as if you and I were living in some kind of a alternate reality, and that's exactly what is going on here. So we got some economic news today, which, look, it's interesting. We got initial jobless claims coming in at 216,000 for last week, better than expected. We have continuing claims coming in better than expected. Meanwhile, the nanosecond that this news came out, stock futures drop into the red. So let's just put that together. So apparently an economy doing a little better than it's predicted, and stock futures are falling off of a cliff right now. Why is this happening? If you recall, 2 weeks ago, we had Fed President Mary Daly explaining that in order for inflation to, stop rising, she said more people need to lose their jobs. I say start off with her and the rest of these Fed president freaks here. Why do we need these things? Why do we need these things? I don't think we need them at all, but apparently somebody does. It's just too asinine here, but that's the story. Another twisted piece of information here. So, third quarter GDP, gross domestic product, was revised higher. Meanwhile, what do we know is going on? The economy continues to free fall. Manufacturing, factory activity, real estate, all of this is crumbling around us here. The service sector. As a matter of fact, every sector of the economy is slowing down dramatically, and they want you to believe that GDP is higher than predicted or revised higher. Why is that? How is this kind of phenomenon occurring here? It's government spending. You see, it's a trick that they use against the minds of men and women yet again. So GDP, a product as well of government spending. Henceforth, why you got this nearly $2 trillion spending bill that Congress wants to shove down the throats of the American people. And where's that cash coming from? We don't have it. It's going to get borrowed right from the Federal Reserve. So look, we could have like zero actual economic activity. And if the government keeps spending and spending and spending and spending, we'll have higher GDP. And that's really the truth. It's a game that they play. How many times has this guy explained to you, this is just a charade. It's a game. The data is all twisted. It's fake. None of it makes any sense here. It's all propaganda. And that propaganda is going to continually get worse here moving forward. And it's not just a phenomenon here in the United States. I hear from people from all over the world. And they're saying the same things. Greg, our media outlets are doing the same thing. They're telling people complete falsehoods every single day. Just this goes back to, how propaganda is used or has been used against not enemies, but against the people of any given nation by their supposed government or whatever it is, the body that's supposed to be looking out for the people. Let me ask you this while we're on that topic. What is the real job of government here? Is it to support the people? Is it to make their lives better? Is that what you think it is? Well, if you do, then you have no clue. The job of a government entity or an oversight agency, whatever it might be, is to survive by any means necessary. That means they have to lie to the people, distract people, deceive people, and that's what they're going to do. And that's exactly what's going on around the world, not just the United States phenomenon. I think you are well aware of that. So on the back of the news this morning, like I said, continuing claims coming in better, jobless claims coming in better, GDP revised higher. Oh, we're doing so great. You got stock futures, at least right now, down across the board. You got this other phenomenon here that I discussed yesterday at length, how I was not happy about the MMRI its current trajectory higher? Well, it's higher this morning. 10-year yield slightly higher this morning. The relative strength of the dollar slightly higher this morning. Crude oil slightly higher this morning. Bitcoin, cryptos flat to slightly under some pressure. Gold and silver, gold, especially silver, under some pressure this morning here. Look, nobody gets this better than you do. That this whole thing is such a farce on such a grand scale. And I think, and I would be willing to bet that you would agree that this whole thing, the lies, the tales, the distractions, the deceptions, it ain't getting any better. It is not getting better anytime soon. And you have to also realize another fact that we're going to see here moving forward with regard to the, are you catching the headline with regard to the meeting of the minds between Bidenstein, Mummy Man, and the it, Zelensky over there? Yeah, he's an it too. It's being hailed as an historic victory. Now, how does that work? Can someone here, I mean, there's a pretty big audience watching this right now. Can someone here maybe give Greg Mannarino a clue as to why this is being, I mean, turn on any of the mainstream media outlets right now. They're playing this up as if it's the second coming or whatever it might be. It's the greatest thing. It's an historic victory for the people of the world. Really? How is that? What I see, I think, is what you see. We see an expanding war with no end in sight. We have hundreds of billions, soon to be in the trillions of dollars, being thrown at this war, courtesy of the American people and people around the world who weapon systems. Oh yeah, I'm telling you who this is an historic victory for. The central banks, number one. None more so than the Fed, who is more than happy to create cash out of thin air and send it wherever they have to. This is all the off-balance sheet that I try to explain to all of you. Look, there's a public balance sheet here for the Federal Reserve and other central banks, as well as corporations. You all know that. So all this cash that we're sending, we're just gifting over to Ukraine here to foster this war, to expand this war, it won't show up on a balance sheet. You understand? Because it's the off-balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. Because they're paying for, look, every war is a banker war. You know that. Who's funding this? Banks are funding this. The military-industrial complex, defense stocks, weapon systems, all this stuff. They couldn't be more happy about this ever-expanding war that's going to go on and on and on, and more people are going to die. Really, that's just the way it works here. And I think you're well aware of that. It's just, look, it's so disturbing to me. It is so twisted. What else would you expect? But that's the nature of the beast. It must function that way. Why do you think, for example, if you were to look at the history of, let's just say, the United States, we've been virtually in a state of perpetual war ever since the fiat monetary system was introduced. It demands that this action go on and on, that reasons be created out of nothing, fear tactics, propagated against the people of the world and people here in the United States to back any kind of spending. And if you don't do it, if you feel, if for example, you're a person who doesn't like to foster wars, or you don't believe in spending trillions of dollars on warp speed vaccines and whatever else, then of course that you're persona non grata here. You're not a patriot. You don't care about people. You're spreading misinformation. This is how this whole thing works. Does this seem like a free society to you? Free thought, free action, free movement? Really? Is that what you see going on in whatever country you exist in, especially here in the United States? It's gone. Free thought, you can't think, you're not allowed to think for yourself. You're not even allowed to see what's on your mind anymore. Free speech, no such thing anymore. Free action, what are you allowed to do? I know, I tell you, people, it's just out of control. Anyway, that's and with regard to free movement, you have to do what they tell you to do. If they're telling you to wear a diaper on your face, you have to do it. bank withdrawals. You try to withdraw cash from your bank, they put you through the third degree. Like I've been telling you, your money, that cash isn't yours. What do you think if you were to go into your financial institution and they actually ask you, oh, what are you using this money for? Are you kidding me? Tell them to shove it in the deepest part of their rectum. Okay? It's supposed to be your cash flow, which it isn't. You all know that. This cash, none of it is yours. It's all owned by the issuing central bank. I'm telling you. And what we're seeing now, people, look, I've told you forever, the propaganda is going to get much worse. This GDP number today is false. It's about government spending. The economy is in free fall. But you're never going to hear this. You're not going to hear this stuff. Maybe there's some YouTubers that are going to talk about this, how government spending is calculated here with the GDP. And they could just spend their way into higher GDP. And that's exactly what they're going to do. And all it's doing is bankrupting further. The United States, the laughingstock of the world, is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. There's been nothing like it. There never will be. It's going to continue to get worse with now another $2 trillion spending bill. Where's this cash coming from? We don't have it. It's unbelievable. It really is. All right, look, I covered a lot here with you today. I hope you got something out of this video, as usual. And please comment. Does Greg Mannarino have it right? Does Greg Mannarino have it wrong? What do you see here? Do you think it's kind of twisted that we get supposedly good economic news and the stock market looks like it's about to sell off here at the open? Who knows what's going to happen? And just forget about the market for a moment, people. Start to focus more, and I know you are if you follow this blog, on the global debt market, which is the driver, the relative strength of the dollar, and the greatest tool, in my view, that has ever been created to gauge risk in this market and in the economy. And that is the MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. A link in the description of this video. Utilize these tools. And we really don't have to guess as to what's happening here. We know it. We're acutely aware of what's happening. We're raising our awareness every single day. We laugh at the propaganda that they're fist feeding us. It's just such crap. It really is. All right, look, I will see all of you at the end of the day. Promise. I'm out of here.